You know how Fox had a weird way of counting Simpsons episodes? They refused to count a couple of them, making the amount of episodes inconsistent. The reason for this is a lost episode from Season 1. Finding details about this missing episode is difficult. No one who was working on the show at the time likes to talk about it. From what has been pieced together, the lost episode was written entirely by Matt Groening during the production of the first season. Matt started to act strangely. He was very quiet. He seemed nervous and morbid. Mentioning this to anyone who was present results in them getting very angry, and them forbidding you to ever mention it to Matt. I first heard of it at an event where David Silverman was speaking. Someone in the crowd asked about the episode, and Silverman simply left the stage, ending the presentation hours early. The episode's production number was 7G06. The title was Dead Bart. The episode labeled 7G06 Moaning Lisa was made later and given Dead Bart's production code to hide the latter's existence. In addition to getting angry, asking anyone who was on the show about this will cause them to do everything they can to stop you from directly communicating with Matt Groening. At a fan event, I managed to follow him after he spoke to a crowd, and eventually had the chance to talk to him when he was alone and leaving the building. He didn't seem upset that I had followed him, probably expected a typical encounter with an obsessive fan. When I mentioned the lost episode, though, all color drained from his face and he started trembling. I asked him if he could tell me any details. He sounded like he was on the verge of tears. He grabbed a piece of paper, wrote something on it, and handed it to me. He begged me never to mention the episode again. The piece of paper had a website address on it. I would rather not say what it was, for reasons you'll see in a second. I entered the address into my browser, and I came to a site that was completely black, except for a line of yellow text, a download link. I clicked on it, and a file started downloading. Once the file was downloaded, my computer went crazy. It was the worst virus I had ever seen. The system restore didn't work, the entire computer had to be rebooted. Before doing this, though, I copied the file onto a CD. I tried to open it with my now empty computer, and, as I expected, there was an episode of The Simpsons on it. The episode started off like any other episode, but had very poor quality animation. If you've seen the original animation for Some Enchanted Evening, it was similar, but less stable. The first act was fairly normal, but the way the characters acted was a little off. Diomedes was incredibly aroused, simply from having a man on his face, as well as the unnaturally potent scent of his own arousal. He could see bald, and he reached up to touch it for the first time. Angrily, Boreal slapped the hand away and pushed his ass right in his mouth. Diomedes kissed his sweaty buttocks and decided, in for a penny, in for a pound, before licking the puckered ass. With the strong taste of his juice on his lips and in his mouth, he barely tasted the sweat as he rinned him. Boreal was rubbing his turgid pud as Diomedes pushed his tongue slightly into the asshole. The sensations were incredible for Boreal as he brought himself off again with Diomedes' face buried between his musty cheeks. Diomedes felt another gush of juice stain his shirt as the ass contracted around the tip of his tongue. It seemed an age passed before Boreal finally stood from his face, turned, and glared down at him again. No! Captain Diomedes' face stung from the slap, and half-remembered historical tortures bothered his imagination. He couldn't fight him. He was nothing before this man. Holding his urethra slightly open with the fingers of one hand, Boreal directed a warm stream into Diomedes' open mouth. Diomedes looked directly into his eyes as his mouth was filled, then swallowed the golden piss down before opening his mouth for more.